So I had a different video slated to do today, but then I went to the store and I found this, and I thought back to a subscriber of mine to protect and attack. When the line first came out, he asked me for weeks to pick one up, but I really didn't want any of what was in the first wave. I mean, I thought they all looked terrible, and I didn't need another bad version of each of these characters. Plus, I like Transformers, and typically I find figures that don't have an alt mode or transformation boring. But I always considered it just to make them happy. So when I saw this, a character whose recent figure left me wanting in the looks department for something more accurate with a gun instead of the silly tail whip, something that was both new and different, I thought back to protect and attack. I decided to finally make his wish come true. So this one's for you, dude. Man, this is really gonna play havoc with my formula. So let's play a little more and talk about the box first. Don't worry, I know no one cares, I won't dwell on this. It's a pretty attractive design, all glossy and complex. Spoiler alert, I think a lot of where the budget for this figure went was the box. The picture on the back looks very different to the actual figure, and this one here is practically a lie. There is no way he can hold that in one hand. The last thing I want to bring up is the really gorgeous artwork of him on the front, where he absolutely 100% just stole Dinobot's face. Like, no kidding, that is just not even remotely his face. That is Dinobot's mug peering out through Cheetor's helmet. Was this a mistake? Did the guy just not know better? Or was he consciously trying to make Cheetor cooler by giving him the face of a much better character? The look of this figure is, fucking what? This is so weird. It's so off the mark, it's insane. It's like they were going for a semi-stylized take, but not committing at all. The colors are all over the place. They were probably trying for gold, but they ended up with bronze, and it clashes like a motherfucker. His shoulders, I don't know what to call these, are so strange and wrong. Like they are flat as a pancake for some odd reason, and the discs in them are round. When, in the show, they were 12-sided polygons, likely because they were trying to go for circles while keeping their tries down, but still, it's now iconic to the character that they aren't actually round. His fingers are the wrong shape, having been redesigned to be more claw-like. His crotch is super weird too. From the front, it's just not the right color and the shape is off, but his ass looks like the Master Chief's, which is just completely and utterly not how it's supposed to look. Why am I staring at Cheetor's ass? The colors in general on this guy are all over the place. Almost none of it matches, all of it's wrong for the character it's supposed to be, and it's just weird that they couldn't get a damn thing right. Though some of the darker yellows that fade do appear quite close to what they're supposed to look like at their maximum level of saturation. And then you get down to the feet. Since when did Cheetor wear, I don't know, Dr. Scholl's wingtip shoes? You can also remove the cheetah head and arms from the torso, but neither port is the same, so you can't put the cheetah head on the back, and neither is compatible with siege ports. The back looks fine without the arms, but the chest looks like someone scooped out half of it. Why? Removing the cheetah head doesn't get you any new posability, and it looks terrible, so why would they even let you? Head sculpt is terrible, the color breakup is obnoxious, the blue is a weird glossy paint that makes Cheetor look super sweaty, and the face doesn't so much scream Cheetor as it does middle-aged man who was just stung by bees. The whole thing is like 75% accurate to the character design from the show, but the 25% he is wrong makes no sense. It's not because of the limitations with the budget or anything like that, it's wrong because they chose to make it different on purpose for some bizarre reason. He comes with a small handful of accessories, and you'd think that for the price and the fact that you are sacrificing the transformation and alt mode in their entirety on this figure, he'd come with more. For starters, he's got 4 extra hands. 2 fists, 2 gun hands, and 2 claw hands so he can pull some Wolf Fang Fist. Pardon me, Cheetah Fang Fist. I would like to point out that these pegs on the hands are fucking tiny needles of things. I'm sure that these could easily end up breaking with little effort. He comes with what I assume are supposed to be Energon crystals, but these are wrong. Hey numbnuts, who designed these? Energon crystals in the show were blue, not purple. You gave him dark Energon crystals, you idiots, which are not only not from this series, they're not even from this continuity. And even if these are just supposed to be regular Energon crystals, Cheetor was never shown to be carrying around Energon crystals at any point in the show. He comes with his iconic gun, but the handle seems to be mounted a little far forward, it's at an angle backwards, and it's not a typical peg, so you can't hand this off to, say, Kingdom Cheetor. It also seems to have the storage clip at the back that pegs into the other toys molded on, but it doesn't fit into the slot on the back of the figure for seemingly no reason, so you can't store this. It comes with 2 blast effects that peg into the gun, and what the fucking fuck? These are wrong. They're the wrong color and the wrong shape. Cheetor's gun fired yellow orbs, not, I don't know, purple water explosions? And they aren't compatible with Siege. Why? Why not? Is it doing this just to be weird? They're clearly purple to be made with the same plastic as the Energon crystals, but I have to point out that there was nothing about that stopping them from making these or the gun compatible with siege ports or blast effects, and I need to ask why the material wasn't blue. Like sure, the blast effects would still be wrong, but they would fit more considering that blue is one of Cheetor's core colors, and it's the complement of yellow. And more importantly, at least the Energon crystals would have been the correct color. And that's it. That's all the accessories he comes with. And at this point I have to question, what the fuck? Why these accessories? The gun makes sense, everything else doesn't. Like, why does Cheetor come with a pile of Energon crystals, an item that he is not associated with in any way other than a blue version of these appeared in the show that he's from, and not any of the other accessories he's famous for, or played a pivotal role in his character development? I suppose my question is, where is the comm badge? It could so easily go around his arm. Or how about the survey posts? Just anything actually associated with this character, please. I don't think I'm asking for too much when it comes with crap this sparse, this unrelated, and the figure isn't doing 1/3 of the stuff any other Transformers branded product would. Pardon the extra long posability segment I'm about to do. I don't normally go too in-depth into posability because I realize most people don't really care all that much about posability. They want to know about the highlights and anything above or below average, but they don't typically want to know every little detail about how a figure moves. But it's kind of like half the point on this figure, so I need to go a little bit harder in this aspect than normal. Posability is not anywhere near where it should be on this guy. Head seems to be on a double ball joint that lets you go back a tiny amount. I have no fucking idea why you'd want to do this. It changes nothing. You also get a small amount down, basically no up, rotation like normal, and barely any tilt, so the head sucks. Then you get to the shoulders. They can extend to just over his collar line, so that's okay, but these are on ratchets, and they have two, count them, two detents. You can kind of get it set between them, but that's tenuous to say the least, so these suck too. Then you get to some of the most redundant joints I've ever seen. The bicep has two swivel joints and the wrist has its own. You can literally grab the figure by the forearm and spin the bicep 360 without moving anything else. This figure is so goddamn weird. Why include two bicep joints? What does two do that one can't? The answer is nothing. But wait, this doesn't stop sucking there because the elbows only pull a 90. Are you serious with this? The elbows bend almost as far backwards as they do forwards. How does this not bend more? And did I mention no butterfly joint? There is basically nothing stopping them from putting one in other than cheapness or laziness. The wrists have some bend up and down as well as full rotation, so that's at least above average, though it still can't do this. He has an ab crunch that only works as a back crunch. If you bend him forward, he just bounces back out of it because the plastic narrows a millimeter into the bend. It's basically fucking pointless. And I just have to ask, what the fuck? We sacrificed alt mode, transformation, and cross-compatibility along with basically every other aspect of these figures on the altar of looking the most accurate as possible and posing better than anything else. And we're batting 0 for 2 here. We can downgrade accurate look to good look, but the face and the colors just throws that into the trash. So we are left with posing, and there are absolutely mainline, actually transforming Transformers that pose better than this. Down to the lower half, and we got a waist rotation, so that's normal, and legs that can't get all the way out to the sides. Should I even be surprised at this point? Just another thing that this figure should have been able to do that it can't. Legs that can go forward and back just like they should. Thigh cut that spins with a little effort, but that works just like it should as well. Knees that can bend the wrong way a bit, and bend almost all of the way with cool auto-moving cap covers. They should go further, especially considering nothing else goes as far as it should, but this is just short of where it could be, so this I can happily live with. These are pretty decent. Ankles can tilt up and down and can rock in both directions, so you'd think that these would be pretty good, but here's the kicker. No pun intended. There's no ankle swivel. And that basically makes these feet pretty useless because you can't align them with the direction they need to go to support the figure most of the time. It doesn't help that these are loose as hell, thus making him really prone to falling over. This thing doesn't do a damn thing that it should. It poses better than an average Siege figure, but barely. It looks decent, I suppose, but I don't know what they were going for. It's not stylized enough to be a stylized take or a reinterpretation, and it's too stylized to be a faithful recreation. It doesn't come with enough accessories, and the ones it does come with shouldn't have been in the first place with one exception. It has some useless features, and not even great QC in the tolerance department, though the paint QC was clearly on point with the exception of making it the right goddamn color. This is a baffling figure. It is so goddamn weird. This isn't bad, but it's definitely not good enough. And I have to ask the question I asked at the very start of the red line when I first saw what the figures look like. What is the point of this line? Transforming figures look better. Transforming figures pose better. Transforming figures actually transform. One person made the claim to me that it's for kids who aren't old enough to figure out how transformations go, but still for some reason want accurate representations of the characters from shows decades before their time. And to that I say, why isn't this more accurate then? Also, no, you can't say that about this figure because these are really sharp, and a kid too young to figure out a transformation will hurt themselves on these. I don't know who this line is supposed to be for, and as far as I can tell, it's nobody, because these shelf warm to hell and back, and I could see why before I ever got one. Seems like most people can as well. This might shock you, but as much as I bitched about this thing, I don't hate it. It's fun-ish. I just don't understand it. It's just weird. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know you know what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.